All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're here talking about a free mod. It's the 1986 Ford F350 by uh, by Mason's Mods. What we're going to be doing now is showing you how to do a quick paint job on the truck. Not going to mess with the trailer in this tutorial, just the truck. So what we're going to do is right click on the template. When you unzip the file that you got from him, you had truck template in there. So you want to right click on that and open it with paint.net. If you don't use paint.net, if you use GIMP or one of those, that's fine. One of the first things I do is add a layer down there on the right hand side, and I paint it white, and I slip it underneath the truck template so I can see the template better. There's the add layer button, and then I add another layer. It's a graphics layer. Double click it, and then I'm just going to name it graphics so I know I can kind of help keep track of things that way. And I'm going to slide that on top of the truck because I want the graphics to show up above everything else on this skin. So we're going to go down and we're going to chase down some graphics here. I think what we're going to do is, I really like coffee. Got a cup right here, as a matter of fact. I love coffee. So what we're going to do is we're going to make this a coffee themed truck, just for shits and giggles. So let's grab some coffee beans. These look pretty nice. And this is just a PNG I downloaded on the interwebs. So we're going to select all, edit, copy, and then we're going to go back over to our template and make sure that we're on our graphics layer. That's active in blue down there at the bottom. And then we're going to go edit, paste, and then I'm just going to drag this out to cover the side of the truck. Don't want to cover the whole thing. Going to drop it down a little bit. Now, another reason that I put a white layer underneath everything on this is because the base color of my truck is going to be white. That's the way I like it. You don't have to do that. You can leave it transparent, and then you can activate metallics and in Mod Studio 2, and then you'll be able to select whatever color you want, or you can go with the other option. Anyway, back to it. So what I'm doing here is just kind of manipulating the graphic to where I think it looks halfway decent on there, and just going to move it around a little bit there and see. I want some little bits of white showing at the top on each side, just of the body, just so you can really see the beans. Drop another one in here. I just did edit, paste again, because we still got that in our clipboard, I guess you call it. We'll drop this layer in here and kind of make it sort of match the other side. Doesn't have to be perfect. I didn't flip. Usually I'd flip the graphic. If it's going to go on the right hand side, I flip it opposite the driver's, but it doesn't matter on this. It's just a hill of beans. Anyway, my raw sense of humor there. So we're going to paste another one. Edit, paste. We're going to drag this across the tailgate. We don't have to manipulate this so much, just kind of drag it sideways. Now it's not going to have the same proportions as the side because I stretched those graphics out so far, and I could have just pasted in like two of the same thing on each side and made the beans not stretched out so far, but it's okay. This is just a tutorial. I'm not going to keep it. It's just show you how, the easy way to go about it. So we're going to pick another graphic. We'll get this coffee cup here, I think, that's splashing coffee out. Looks kind of cool. Yeah, I like that. And we'll edit, select all, edit, copy. And there's some shortcut keys that you can see when you select that item from the toolbar. You can see the shortcut keys there. I don't use them. It's too much for me to remember in my old mind. And edit, paste, slide that coffee cup down on the driver's side door. Looks kind of cool. Now we'll go back to our graphic, and I'm gonna flip it horizontally, select all, copy it again. This will be for the other side. I want them to basically face the same direction, so like it's being knocked over from the front of the truck or something. Anyway, so there's the passenger door. Now I think what we'll do is we'll go back, and this, you'll notice this graphics layer I laid on top of everything else. That's so it would be above the beans and above the truck layer. So it's the very top layer at the moment. Put this on the hood, stretch it out a bit. Looks kind of cool. Slide it in place, and then, yeah, that looks pretty good. Alright, now we want to go with something entirely different as far as I want to get something, I think, on the, well, let's color in the bed. I don't want to put any beans or anything in there, but I'm going to attempt to make sort of a brown color. And from my from my experience with this color wheel in here, it drives me batty. It's probably going to come out more maroon than anything, but trying for a brown. I guess I should probably use the eyedropper tool and pick a dark brown from those coffee beans and just use that. But anyway, I'm going to try to get it brown. Like I said, in game it'll probably show up burgundy anyway, but that's okay. I just want to color in the inside of the bed. Now this is going to color the bottom of the bed and the sides, inside sides of the bed as well, because I covered the whole part of that graphic up there. And we just color it in till we're happy with it, and then move on. And that's how you color an entire body part right there. And you know, you might be doing your company truck logos and things like that, and sponsor labels, and you know, might be a race car hauler truck or something, and you want to use your racing graphics and your sponsor labels and all that stuff. You can do that. You know, just take your graphic one at a time and stick it on the side of the truck where you like it, and make it whatever size you want to make it, and then move on with the next one. You could have a whole banner down the side of each side of the truck that's sponsor labels and that kind of thing. So it's kind of how I have my rodeo. I've got, I think, Justin boots and something else on there, but I have a lot of rodeo trucks that I do, and you may have seen the one that I have for my this 1986 Ford with the rodeo labels on it. It's pretty cool. I like it, and that's why we're doing this tutorial today, so that you can do yours. Now, when I pulled this graphic in, I don't know if you noticed there, but it asked me if I wanted to expand the canvas. But that's because this graphic is so big. It's bigger than the actual size of the truck that we're working on, that template right now. So, pardon me. So I told it, no, I don't want to expand the canvas. That's why I'm having to shrink it down so far, and that's why it's so oversized. But if I would have just knocked the size of that graphic down before I ever cut it or copied it, we wouldn't have to go through that. But that's okay. It's all good. So we'll get that in place on the roof there and turn it sideways, and there we go. I could have done it like I did the coffee cup, you know, did the rotate anti-clockwise 90 degrees, but I didn't want it exactly 90 degrees anyway. There you go. So we're going to save it. We're going to save it as, first I'm going to save it as a PDN, because I want to save it with all the layers separate. So all those layers that you see down there on the right hand side, those will remain, so I can come back and make changes later to a single layer if I want to. Then we're going to go back and we're going to save it as, no, we don't want to save it as a PNG. This particular truck takes a DDS file, so we're going to save it as a DDS, and we're going to name it and save it. Boom. Now it's going to ask us to flatten all the layers. Now you notice that all the layers became one down there. That's why we save it as a PND as well. In case we want to go back and make changes, we'll have to make those in the PDN and then save it again as a DDS. Now, I'm not going to save any of the changes that I made to my graphics. Now we're going to go in here and we're going to open up Mod Studio 2, and we're going to start a new project, and we're going to make it ATS, and then that creates our manifest file, and then we're going to add a template, which is going to be a simple truck template, and then we're going to go into our trucks, and you'll notice you don't see that 1986 Ford F350 in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on SCS Tools, and we're going to say add a truck, and we're going to add a vehicle from the mod. So click on that button and open up your mod folder, go find your 1986 Ford F350, find the SCS file for the Ford itself and open, and then check that box that says all Fords, and then hit save vehicle. That's going to put it in your Mod Studio 2 user vehicles. You don't see it show up here yet. Don't freak out. If you just click on the manifest and then come back to it, right there you see it, and then go over there and check where it says crew cab, because that's what we want. That's what we're painting today. So we go back to our manifest. We're going to fill out our manifest here, just like you normally do. You know, your mod name and your name and all that neat stuff. It's going to be a paint job, so you want to go down to the second box down there and say it's for paint jobs, or the top box, I guess it is. Anyway, you don't have to put a number value in the version of the game that it's for, unless you want it, you only want it for one game version. If you don't put anything in there, it's just going to work. It works for whatever. There we go, paint job. So text part of it on the manifest, I just put something quick in there, coffee for Ford, and then go back to our truck skin, and we'll fill out the name that we want it to have. Just keep it all lowercase, don't put any funky characters, and keep it less than about 8 characters. This is just the internal name for that SCS uses, so it's not like you're renaming America. I unlock the base color and I just slide it all the way to the whitest of white, just for the principle of the thing. Now we want to go and find our graphic, because that's what goes in here. This is going to be our paint job, so we're going to go find that coffee that we just created. It'll show up here, right there. And then we're just going to use the default icon for now, because I don't want to create an icon, right? And that's it. I'm not going to do metallic on this or anything. We want to save it as, and this is going to save it as a MS2 or Mod Studio 2 file. So just go ahead and save it that way first, and then we'll come back, make sure your box is still checked for crew cab, and then go to export mod. You're going to click on the export box and then name it. We're going to name it like coffee flavored Ford. I think that's cool. Coffee flavored Ford. And then hit the save button and it'll export it. If you encounter any errors, it's likely that you didn't fill in one of the boxes or you filled it in incorrectly. So just go back and look at your information again. Now that you've saved it, tell MS2 that you want to open that location and then copy the file. That's the SCS file. We've saved it into our mod folder, and some of your values might be different on your computer if you have things saved in different areas, but it should work okay. You should be all right. Anyway, we're going to open up the game now. We're going to go to mods, because we need to go to our mod manager first, because we created a new mod and it's in there. Here we go. Activate it, and I decrease the priority. I take it down to in and amongst my paint jobs. It needs to be above the Ford, the 1986 Ford F350. Do place it above that. But other than that, I don't think mod order is going to be very crucial. Confirm the changes, and then pop right into the game there. Once we're in the game, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the truck dealer, and then we're going to go to access mod dealer and go to Ford. There's our truck. Wait for it to render in here momentarily. Alright, there she is, the ugly mustard paint job. Customize the configuration. So then we go in here and click on paint jobs. That's the first thing we want to look at. I'm not interested in doing all the other fancy stuff at the moment. Ignore the V3 mod skins, that's for the other Ford. Alright, there's our coffee beans right there. So that's what it looks like on the truck. Get a little closer here and let you see it. Doesn't that look cool? Some awesome graphics. Coffee beans all over the place, because we love coffee. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I hope that helps. That's a quick and dirty tutorial there. I've got some more in-depth tutorials on my channel, so feel free to bounce around and have a looky-loo, and you can find different tutorials for different things, like how to add a truck to Mod Studio 2. If you don't have one, if you don't have an XML file, this is how to create it. Anyway, I appreciate y'all watching, and be sure to subscribe.